Now, the other question I have, which is everyone's battling with at the moment, is how do you do remote work? Because you are a remote company, I believe.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the challenges there, and what are some of the opportunities?
So we've been remote for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we were a little bit ahead of the curve and well designed to weather the storm of the pandemic. It wasn't a change. It wasn't a cycle. It wasn't that we were remote already. It wasn't an issue. And
Yep.
7 years ago, when we went remote, one of the reasons I did so was because I was living in LA. I was moving back to San Francisco. We had a lease of our office come up. It was holiday time. I didn't want to renew. And I said, let's just everyone work remote for a quarter and let's see what happens. We saw productivity shoot up. We saw happiness shoot up. We saw our ability to recruit outside of a geo-fence skyrocket. And our costs went down because we didn't have the office and the this and the. So, wow, this is interesting. Let's continue to do this. And if we're going to do this, let me look at some of the best people out there who've done it. 37 Signals and a few others. Let me look at other people who've done it. What are models?
Yeah,
And then
GitHub's another one. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. People have done this. It's not new, but what it takes and what I realize is that it takes massive amounts of intention, reinforcement, and a really tight hiring and culture creation process. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so we did that. And in that process, we have done every model of stand-ups and check-ins and dailies and weekly. We've tried it all over the years of
Mm-hmm.
how to create the best culture. And just last year, in 21, Inc. recognized us as I think it was 26 on their global list of most innovative places to work. Global, right? Which is amazing. We were above like Disney and some others. And we were like, wow, that's really awesome. And it's because we've been so intentional about culture building. And
Yeah.
that comes down to tactically being really clear of who we are, why we exist, our core values. It comes down to how we hire, the recruiting process, the onboarding, the recruiting, the interviewing process. It's not just a technical interview, it's culture interviews and all of that. And then it comes down to how do we operate day to day. So I'll give you like a couple things that we do.
Yep.
When everybody's hired, one of the first emails they get is what we call appreciation languages. They take a quiz. It's like the 5 languages of love, but for the
Yeah.
workplace.
Yeah. I've read the book. I've read the book.
Okay, awesome. The appreciation one or the love language?
Love language. Yeah.
Okay, so what he did, Gary Chapman, he partnered
Okay.
with a business person, and they wrote a book about this for the workplace. And so what we do is we create a matrix, a spreadsheet. We have everybody take the quiz, and then they put into this spreadsheet openly to the whole company who they are, their title, their department, their primary, secondary ways of feeling appreciated, 3 helpful hints. This all pops out of this quiz, and their least favorite. What that allows us to do is when somebody has done a good job, instead of just assuming they like words of affirmation and praise, we reference that and we speak their language directly, bespokely of how they feel appreciated.
Yeah.
We do stand-ups Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday morning is an all-hands 45-minute stand-up. And we start with a moment of gratitude. We go around the whole company. There's 40 of us, all on Zoom. And we start with a moment of gratitude, something you're grateful for, personal or professional. And every single person goes through and tells us what they're grateful for. Then we go into company updates on the business, company updates in the business, and we close out with team wins and team recognition. Team wins are wins from the last weeks that the 3 leadership folks in our organization share that recognizes something good the team has done. And recognition is we have 4 core values: collaboration, ambition, playful, and efficient. And the last part is the team recognizing other team members for a demonstration of a core value.
Yep.
Right? And then Wednesdays and Fridays are not business. They're just get to know you. We ask a question, a silly question, like, what's your, what was your prom, like, or this, that, and the other, or,
Yeah.
if you were a superhero, what would it be? And they're 25-minute meetings. Everybody goes around and answers the fun little question. And then we always end with any recognitions again. And that's Wednesday, Friday. And so those are some of the things that we do. We have a lot more micro things that we do to reinforce throughout. But when you do it like that and you have these touch points, you get to have these water cooler moments, which you miss by being by not being physically next to each other.
Yep.
And we've created an award-winning culture. We're super proud.